Hello, everyone. This is Ellington with the Backseat Generals, and today we have got ourselves a massive battle on the city of Kath. This was sent in by Billy Blazes, and from what I understand, it's got some spicy content in here. So I'm really excited to look at this one for the first time and see what's going on. What's the deal with it? So let's go ahead and get into the army comps. We're sitting here looking at Seleucids, so we'll just go ahead and start with them. There are two Seleucids in the battle today, but this attacking Seleucid is being brought by Silent Fart. Now, Silent Farts bring in some Thorax swords, Royal Peltis, Thorax swords. Kind of a typical Seleucid army, a lot of Thorax swords, with some Royal Peltis in support. He's got quite a bit of Royal Peltis, actually. And then I did see a an Eastern Spearman over here. Then, of course, he's got the Syrian Heavy Archers, which, if you're playing Seleucid, I definitely suggest getting those. They might be the best archers in the game. His pikeman here, he's got two Thorax pikes. And then I think he brought, let's see, another Royal Peltis there. Thorax swords, Thorough spears, Thorax sword. And his Jin is actually on the towers. That's interesting. That's something you do not typically see, is the general going forward on the towers. So we're going to move over to his right side, and as you can see, we've got Kush here. Now Kush is being commanded today by Solid Man, and he's got, he's got some cav, he's got Kushite Royal Guard, a lot of Kushite Royal Guard, which is a lot of money spent on cavalry. I'm curious, these funds are probably pretty high, maybe even ultra funds on this battle. Bunch of Armored Shotel Warriors, Kushite Slave Infantry, 3 units of Kushite Slave Infantry there. Another one there, and some Armored Shotel Warriors there with a Kushite Pike and 2 Nubian Spearmen, and then he did bring the Royal Kushite Archers. Now, one of the issues in this battle is we do have 2 Arvernis, and they are both on the same side, which means I don't really know which of these armies is which. The 2 commanders of Arverni were Tyke Mon, I think that's how you say it, and Mexi. Now this Arverni here next to Kush, he's got a lot of Chosen Swords, which definitely makes sense for his siege equipment. Chosen Spearmen. Yeah, a lot of Chosen Swords. And then some Oathsworn back in the back here. Looks like 3 units. Celtic Scorpion, interesting. Noble Horse and Noble Horse Gen. Alright. And then we're going to go to the other Arverni, which is all the way on this other side. And I'm going to assume that we're going to see it similar. Actually, look at that. 3 units of Naked Warriors. A Celtic Warrior. Chosen Sword. Looks like 4 units of Chosen Swords. Yep, 5 units now. And 3 units of Oathsworn. He's got a Celtic Giant Ballista, and the Gen is a Noble Horse. And then there are 2 Heavy Horse over here helping out. Now that is it for the attackers. Now on defense, right here is actually just going to be, we're going to go straight into the second Seleucid army, which is being brought by Crazy Town Crazy. Thorax swords, Persian hoplites, Thorough spears, Persian hoplites. So kind of a very defensive army here. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of hoplites. Now that is not just, knocking anybody's preference of using them. It's just that I personally don't like using them. It just doesn't fit my playstyle very well. But he's got very defensive, so 2 units of Persian hoplites. Let's see, 3 units of Thorax swords, another Thorough spear, and then of course bring in the Syrian heavy archers. Then he's got a Thorax pike back here, and looks like another Thorax sword. And then looks like his Jin is a Silver Shield swordsman. And then he does have a pretty solid cav force here. 2 median cav, and then 2 Agema cav. Very nice, very nice. That'll be a fun thing to watch. Now, technically, we'll get back to this here in a sec. We'll just go straight into Carthage. Carthage is being brought by Billy Blazes. Now, Billy Blazes is bringing, see, Mercenary Balearic Slingers, Mercenary Cretan Archers, probably a mix, probably 3 Cretan Archers and 1 Balearic Slinger. That's what most people do. 2 African Pikes here, and some Noble Fighters, Libyan Hoplites, Libyan Infantry, Hoplites and Infantry again. Nice little combo there, the Libyan Infantry and the Hoplites together. Another Libyan Infantry, then Libyan Infantry, Mercenary Iberian Swords, and Mercenary Samnite Warriors. Yep, 2 units of those. So he's bringing that, and then right last, or I guess not last, I'm sorry, but right next to him is Saba. Saba is being brought by Axe Minister. Now, Saba is an interesting pick. Saba typically is a more like cav-focused faction, so it's not something you usually see a whole lot in sieges, but they're actually a pretty solid force. So he's got a bunch of these Sabaean swordsmen, then he's got slingers, Mascot Marauders, Marib Guard. Let's see, Marib Guard. A cool looking unit, nice little spear unit there. Noble swords for his, for his general, and then it looks like he brought a lot of slingers here. Oh, there's some Sabaean archers. So then finally for the attackers we have Rome. Now Rome is being brought by Beastmaster. He has got a pretty standard Rome army, a lot of legionary cohort here. Kind of making up the meat of his army. Praetorian Guard back this way, Evocati cohorts, a lot of Evocati there. I'm a big fan of Evocati cohort. It's a great unit. Syrian archers up here, Hastati, legionary cohort. Yeah, like I said, a pretty standard. An eagle cohort here backing up, giving some morale to these guys up front. And then they're being backed up by some of the slingers by Saba. Then he's got, his Balearic Slingers and 2 units of Syrian archers getting ready to shoot the hell out of that gate. Now let's go back to that little spot that we saw. And all the way back here. Now Saba, these vendors spent quite a bit of money on their cabs, so it's going to be very interesting to see if they get the worth out of this. Carthage is a mercenary Scutari cav, then some armored camel spearmen from Saba, camel cataphracts, camel spearmen, and other camel cataphracts, and then Saba also has a desert chariot. Alright, so this battle, we're looking right about 45 minutes long, so let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Should start with some shelling, I would assume, from Arverni over here. I believe he's the only one who had a heavy... Or no, the other Arverni, sorry. I think he's the only one who had a heavy onager that can take down the walls. But as you can see, the defenders are also starting to open fire. Now, I'm not... Oh, he's going to run forward. Okay. So this is a kind of a risky move here. It is kind of cool to move your siege equipment up, and sometimes I think it's a fine strategy, but as you can see, the downside to it is that also means that now your troops as they're going to it are extremely exposed to the artillery fire. So these chosen swords are not a cheap unit. Now, this ballista used quite a bit of fire on the chosen sword, so I really don't think it has ammo to take down this tortoise here. And so, honestly, this tortoise is going to go forward and take down this, it looks like, and I don't think it's worth it. You know, you're going to destroy the ballista, yes, but I don't think the ballista has enough ammo left in it to really matter anyways. So I would probably more use that tortoise on a different part of the wall instead. So no movement for the cav. So it looks like we've got a little bit of a delayed sally out, which I personally am a big fan of delayed sally outs. I really think it is a good strategy because it lulls your enemies into a false sense of security. And also the thing about sallying out immediately is that your opponents really aren't doing much right now. They're not usually that focused, which means that it's usually not hard for a attacking army to kind of respond to a sally out right off the bat, because they're really not, it's hard to catch them in surprise at that point. So doing a delayed sally out and waiting until the attackers are really heavily microing their troops in the combat on the wall or in the gaps in the walls, is probably typically a better time to do it, I would say. But you can also sometimes catch people snoozing right at the start of the game. You know, right off the bat, a lot of times you can catch them off guard and really get some damage done. So it's kind of a situational thing, and I think that's something to keep in mind with all strategies that we talk about, is really just that it's all situational stuff. You know, it's one strategy is not always the answer to every situation. So, you know, just keep an eye about what's going on, what your enemies are doing, and respond accordingly, and you'll do great. So now Arverni on this side is starting to get in, and it looks like Kush has started to bust open some walls and is starting to land onto the walls now. And as you could see, the Roman archers are really just laying into them, so they're going to do quite a bit of damage to that slave infantry. And Arverni is also getting his siege towers up, and looks like we got a chosen sword ready to support either this tower or I assume this this tortoise opening here. Kush is starting to move some troops up, but honestly it looks like Kush is actually really moving his stuff off to the side here, over more towards Arverni. Maybe wanting to kind of go out together, or go in together instead of separately. Seleucid is really pushing in on this wall. He's got a couple gaps opened up against Carthage. Let's see, he's really... Yeah, so interestingly, I don't really know what Carthage is doing. Seleucid was really able to walk through this wall. I guess Carthage, instead of defending the gap itself, is just going to defend at an angle. You know, that's not a bad idea. It kind of helps you condense, and it gives you a little... I don't know. I personally think I would probably hold the gap, not at the angle like this. Maybe he was worried about archer fire. That might be why. Now the archers are laying into these Cretan archers because he's got a 2v1 advantage here. Something I always suggest, if you can't, when you have an archer fight, make sure you either outnumber the enemy's archers or at least match them. If you match them and can at least get the first volley off, you can probably win that matchup. Let's see, Eastern Spearmen really just soaking up ammo from the Libyan infantry. Those Libyan infantry have Pila. Alright, so we had Carthage sent out the mercenary Scutari Cav, and now Saba kind of moved out a little bit delayed afterwards, which is not a bad idea. I'm not sure if he did it on purpose, but I like sending one unit out initially before I send out my main cav force, just because when you send out the first unit, the enemy will typically go and respond to that unit. So, especially, honestly, what I would have done, I would have sent out the unit from over here and sent out the unit here to distract the Arverni army, because Arverni at that point is going to send his cav over to deal with it. And at that point, that's when you spring the trap of sending your larger cav force against the open area now. Now, Seleucid is moving his cav out. It looks like he's got his median cav in front and his Agema cav in the back. The median cav is going to be a lot faster than the Agema cav, so it's not surprising. Now, Arverni, I think at this point, does not look like he knows about the Seleucid cav yet. So Arverni is really at this point, you could see he is moving his cavalry over to this side to help counter against this, but I'm going to be honest with you, he does not have near enough cavalry here. And the downside is he has no spears either. So this is not a good situation for him, especially because he doesn't know about this yet. So Seleucid, as you can see by the eyeballs, is actually still hidden, which means that Seleucid is going to wrap around this side while Arverni's army is dealing with Saba, and honestly, I don't think there's anything Arverni's going to be able to do about it. So that is not a good situation for that Arverni army. Now, Seleucid is getting into the walls here. I think he's just kind of biding his time, making his way in, getting some units in, keeping up some archer support against the enemies. But honestly, this is what I want. This is what I want to see. And the chariots are running down the middle. Now, you know what would be an interesting thought? One of the biggest things you can do against chariots is Pila. So it may not be a terrible idea trying to get some good Pila shots in from these chosen swords here. You got to be careful, and it's a little risky, but honestly, I don't think it's a terrible idea, because getting an initial shot off on them is one of the best things you can get. Now, Seleucid's cav is now visible to Arverni. Now let's see if Arverni decides to respond to that. So now Arverni is actually engaged here. The heavy horse going up against the armored camel spearmen. They're not going to win that one. I guess they are winning right now, but I don't think they're going to win in the end. They've got way too much there. Now, these guys here, combat even. Skitarii Cav looks like was able to sneak through and get into the back stuff here. Now he's going to run his archer's way, but guess what? It's the wrong way. He's stuck. He is in a bad spot. You know, his artillery is about to be washed, and now his archers they're gone. Like, there's no way you're getting out of this. You can see he's trying to get some shots off with his archers to just get some kills, but man, that's rough. That was a great play by the defenders. Getting rid of these archers, getting rid of that ballista is huge. Archers, I cannot stress to you how important archers are in the game of Rome. They're so important to have. Now, interestingly, Arverni's cav actually did do some pretty good work against the Saba cav over there, so they are going to come over and help support it, but they are way too late. And Saba actually still has some units left. He's got his camel cataphracts and camel cataphracts. Now, this one is much healthier than the other one. 76 in this one and 33 on that one. Now, Arverni is starting to get some of his infantry involved in this, but the other big issue here, so here's some big things that happened here, okay? Arverni lost his ballista. Arverni lost his archers. And Arverni hasn't even attacked yet. He has not even gotten to the walls yet, which means that all of the other attackers are in the process of attacking their walls, except for him. He's the only one who's not attacking right now, which means that Seleucid is barely been scratched. He's not even touched at this point. His cav has just gotten in, which means that Arverni's not going to be able to attack for a little while, because until he deals with this, or the defenders decide to just leave him alone, he can't really go anywhere. So Arverni's going to have to deal with this stuff before he can even start attacking the settlement, which really throws off what's going on the other sides. Typically, what I like to do if I'm getting attacked, or if my other allies are getting attacked on a sally out, is I like to have my army or my assault slow down. You know, if you're going in by yourself, that you have a higher chance of being focused down by more than one player, because your other players aren't taking up their spots, you know. So if you go in while your other player is being stalled, it can really throw off the timing of your attack. So now Seleucid is really pushing in here. He pushed in over here, and then he's pushed in on this side as well. But what's probably going to happen, Seleucid's probably going to start wrapping around Carthage. Carthage's defense. He could really actually slip right through here and get into these Iberian swords. But he's got his archers in as well, and he's going to start duking it out with this Cretan archer unit. Now, it does look like it's a 2v1 again. Carthage really should get another archer unit up here. There we go. There it is. Or, honestly, he could do a great job having his Balearics go, and those Balearics could do some really good work against the Seleucid archers, that's for sure. Let's get over to the other side where... looks like the Cav battle is pretty much done on that side. So on this part of the battle, let's get in here and see what's going on. Kush and Arverni are really pushing in. They've got a great gap going in right here. And then I'm kind of surprised. Where's archers for... I really think that Kush could probably get some really good archer fire over on this side. If he were to put his units right here, he could probably get some great archer fire into this defense over here. Oh, shit. Well, never mind. Yeah, he doesn't have a really good angle there, to be honest with you. That was my bad. Now, Rome is getting in on this. Now, he could push could get some really good fire into the backs of this though. Now they are making a great push here. They are really got a good foothold here. Saba's looking pretty thin, but Rome does have a couple of his units in. But he's getting, 60 out of 160, 42 out of 160. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that, but my game crashed. So we're going to get right back into it. Like I was saying, Rome is getting a little thin on this side of it. He's got 2 units that are pretty weak, and then he's got his Ego cohort, which is also pretty weak. Yeah, it's really just getting shredded by the archer fire here. Now, Saba is putting in some archer fire and slinger fire into the defense as well. Also up onto the walls here, so they're both kind of, punching each other in the mouth with that. Now, Carthage on this side is still fighting back against Seleucid. He lost his Libyan infantry here, but he does have his Iberian swords here to hold this flank for a little bit. He's probably going to need to get one of these units down off the wall or something to go fill that side. And then finally on this side, Seleucid is still not doing anything because he doesn't need to do anything as of right now. Arverni is basically just trying to, get his army back into formation, licking his wounds for a little bit before he goes in against Seleucid, because I'm be honest with you, this assault's not going to be fun. No archers, no artillery. Your cav is somehow still alive. I really don't know how his cav survived that fight, but props to that, because if he's got something, that's it. It's useful, or he can make it useful. This attack over on this side looks like Seleucid did bring his pikes in, so we're going to get some African pike v Carthage pike. Now, African pike versus Seleucid. African pikeman versus a Thorac pike. I personally think that Seleucid's probably going to win that one, but we do have another Carthaginian African pike coming up to the front. And then here comes the other Seleucid pike. So just going to have a massive pike fight, apparently. Which, hey, I am cool with that, guys. Now on this side, we've got a Royal... Oh, man, that Royal Peltis is just going to shred this Iberian sword. That Iberian sword's done pretty good, 81 kills, but look at that, 199 on the Royal Peltis now. And a Thorax sword backing it up, and then we've got good response by Carthage. He's bringing in his mercenary noble fighters to take on these Royal Peltis. 1v1, the Royal Peltis might have a chance, but or not 1v1, but healthy. Sorry, 160, might be able to do it, but a 68-man 100 Royal Peltis is not. I don't gonna stand a chance against the noble fighters there. Seleucid also has a Greek Scorpion here that he's using to shoot into the Carthaginian player. Carthaginian player is actually running his pikes away, and it's bad because his pikes now, they were already getting tore apart by archers, but now their backs are exposed, so he's just, that's just getting annihilated, down to 54 men already. Look at this. Oh, God, that's terrible. Oh, man. That feels bad for Carthage. Now he's moving a lot of his troops back. I think Carthage basically is calling it. I think he knows that he's spread too thin, and I think he needs to get back to the support of his allies. Now Rome and the Seleucid actually sent over troops over here. Thorax pikes, and he's got 2 archer units over here. Nice play, but that's what I was telling you earlier. Arverni not being able to attack really gave Seleucid over here time that he could move stuff to other places and help them out. So now Seleucid was able to go support the other front. Now, we do have Arverni coming in with some naked warriors here. Now, Seleucid is moving. I think what they're doing, I think they're calling a mass retreat. Which, I think Seleucid probably could have held here a little longer than he is. He is going to leave the Persian hoplites to hold this gap for as long as he possibly can. But I do think that Seleucid probably could have stayed here a little bit longer. He would eventually need to get back because of the other Seleucid player, but I definitely think he had plenty of time. He could have stayed and done some more damage to Arverni. But good timing for Arverni to start pushing on them as they're trying to retreat. Might be able to, I think he's trying to catch some. Now, it looks like Seleucid actually was able to save one of his Agema Cav. It is at 43 out of 80 men and has just one under 100 kills. So nicely done by Seleucid there. Now, is Rome and Seleucid Rome, Seleucid, and Saba falling back? Does not look like it at the moment. Looks like they are holding as of now. But I will tell you, Arverni and Kush have made quite a push over here. Now it does look like Arverni is pretty much gone. He's got Oathsworn, and Chosen Swords left. But I don't see his gen or anything out here, so I think Arverni's pretty much kaput. Now Kush still is pretty decently healthy. Pike's still, Royal Kushite Archers. Then he's got quite a bit of infantry. His other archers here, Armored Shotel Warriors. He actually has one of his Kushite Royal Guard in here, and I'm not 100% sure why. I probably wouldn't have gone in here with Cav. There's just no room to maneuver him. No room to go anywhere, so I probably wouldn't have gone in at this point. Nubian Spears are losing against Saba here. But Saba is actually wrapping around this attack here pretty well. Starting to surround a lot of the units over on this side. So well done by him. Carthage has made it back to the point here, starting to set up defenses. So has Seleucid. He did one of his thorax swords got caught. That's unfortunate. You want to, I'm sure he's going to want this guy left, but sometimes you just have to let one go. He does still have a Thorough Spear over here in square formation, and Arverni's just going to walk around it, which is, I think, a good idea. He's going to come around, he's going to get into the back of the Persian hoplites and basically just break them. Now, the Thorough Spears, even though they're in square, they are going to continue using their javelins, but now we've got the Naked Warriors coming in. I think that's awesome that they can go into square formation, and yet they still use their javies. I think that's fantastic. But it is getting surrounded by the Naked Warriors, which that's kind of the point of the square formation, is to deal with situations like that. Now, a Cav unit from Arverni coming in and hitting the backs of these Thorax swords, they're just going for the break, which I think that's a good idea. These Thorax swords, when they're just, head on like this, they can be kind of a pain in the ass to get rid of. So getting the Cav unit behind the unit and charging in through the back is a good way to get them to break and basically just get rid of them, So let's see, they're 101 and they're going to get charged again. Oh, good charge there. Good charge. Already down to 94. Yeah, looks like did about, put him down. Oh, man, look at that. There they got. So the kind of a dual thing there. Hit him with the charge. That's already a good thing. But it also breaks their formation quite a bit so that when the Oathsworn, as they're attacking, the Oathsworn get a little bit better damage against them because their formation is broken. Now, the Persian hoplites and the Thorough Spears over here are just about gone. The Persian hoplites are gone. But and there goes the Thorough Spears. So, it looks like Arverni already got a little bit of vengeance, but I still don't think it was enough vengeance. Oh, man, that sally out was just disgustingly awesome. Now, this is an issue. Seleucid is going to come right down the middle here, and he's going to cut off all of these troops over here. Kush and Arverni are still pushing on this side, but it looks like Seleucid is going to walk right down this plaza and cut them off, which is bad news for the defenders. The defenders, this is a lot of troops, especially some important ones from like Rome. So the defenders really need to start getting these units back as soon as they possibly can, because if Seleucid cuts this off, they've got a lot of trouble there. Now, it looks like Seleucid is going to realize basically that he doesn't have enough time to get here. And then good job by the defending Seleucid player with his Agema Cav to basically just kind of zone out the other Seleucid player. So good job by him. Now we have a Thorax Pike, a Slinger unit, and then some of the Roman units are all starting to make their retreat back to the point. Praetorian Guard just standing here. now that the other two players have fallen back, these guys really need to start falling back. They have plenty of time that they can start getting out of this. I guess Rome is just going ham, just really committing to destroying this flank. You know, it could work out in their favor if he is able to take out both Kush and Saba and Arverni over here. That may be worth staying over here to take that down. But if he takes too much damage, it's probably going to be too late then. They did do quite a bit over here. Look at all these dead bodies, guys. Like, that's just... whew. A lot of men died here today. Now, we do have Kush coming in. Oh, getting into some of the archers. Oh, man. Syrian archers, 80 kills. That means you can almost guarantee he's got a little ammo left in them. So Kush getting into that, that's a really good move. Now over here we do have some Seleucid v Seleucid. Looks like the Agema Cav for the defenders went in to try and slow down this Seleucid army. Now I'm not sure, I was hoping I could see how many kills it got. Where, come on, show me. Look like 144 I think that's what it said. Now, yeah, so this other side of the army is officially cut off at this point. They, Seleucid is going to start hitting this side while Arverni starts hitting the other side. And that means that Rome here is just, they're kind of zoned out. Now Rome, once he's done with Kush and the other Arverni player, he could definitely come in and do some damage to the back end of this army here. Now we've got Seleucid archers and Carthaginian archers here getting ready to start firing out against the attacking Seleucid player. Now, the attacking Seleucid player, I would probably say is the healthiest of the attackers. He beat Carthage pretty piecemeal. Arverni lost a lot. He does have a ton of infantry left, but man, he lost so much out there. Now, we've got a defense of some thorough spears and some thorax swords here. Defending right now against 2 units of chosen swords. And then we do have some more Arverni units moving in. Chosen swords... Chosen swords, chosen swords, naked warriors. Does he have any Oathsworn? 1, 2... Yeah, he's got 3 Oathsworn over here, so that's at least a good thing. Now, the attacking Seleucid here is bringing over his Scorpion. It looks like he's going to try and set it up and get some kills against one of these 2 armies. I'm not sure if he's going to go after... Yeah, gosh, that Roman army is just completely cut off here. Also, the Saba general is over here as well. Looks like a noble sword. So that's going to be an interesting one to see how they deal with that. I'm kind of intrigued to see what Rome does. I think that Rome still has the potential to do a lot of damage, but he is completely cut off, and it looks like it is Seleucid's plan to just wipe him off the map before going after the final point. And every time I look over here, just the amount of dead bodies is just ridiculous. Rome's got a solid amount of units left, but man, it looks like Seleucid's here to play. They're here to do some damage. Got his Royal Peltis Gen. And another Royal Peltis taking the front line, moving forward with some backup of Syrian archers and a Thorax Pike. Now that's one downside that Rome doesn't have much of an answer to is those pikes. Their best bet against them is going to be Javies. So as you can see, the defenders have now become the attackers. The defenders are completely cut off from their final choke point, and they're being advanced upon by some heavy firepower here. Royal Peltis are nothing to joke about, and then a Thorax Pike is also just something that Rome doesn't have much of an answer for. Hopefully Rome's got some Pila left. Now the Praetorian Guard is getting shot to pieces by those Seleucid archers, and now by the all of the javelins from the Royal Peltis. Now, they do have heavy armor, so they should be able to tank some of this, but it's still going to do some damage. Hopefully, the main thing I would say, hopefully these legionaries still have some Pila to use against the pikes. because that's going to be their best bet over here to deal with that. And technically, they're still dealing with these last couple units from Arverni and Kush. So Saba's trying to deal with those while Rome tries to deal with Seleucid. And then it looks like for now they're just going to leave the final choke point alone. Besides Arverni on this side, who's just trying to push in. Now, Arverni, I honestly, I think if I was Arverni, I would also just kind of slow down a little bit while waiting for my other player on the other side to deal with Rome. Because right now you're kind of taking on stuff here that, if they want to, yeah, see, like Carthage can send over units to help out because he doesn't have to do anything on the other side. So if I was Arverni, I would probably take it a little bit slower before I start advancing here, especially now that they've got some Thorax pikes here. Because I think if Seleucid were pushing on this other side, that would kind of tie up some of the defending forces that wouldn't be able to go help out on Arverni's side there. Now, it looks like Carthage and Saba are going to try and come up on the back end of this army over here. So we got some mercenary noble fighters and some slingers over here, but the slingers are going to get hit by the Kushite Royal Guard, or not slingers, but the noble fighters are. They will be able to finish them, it's just going to do some damage in the process. We got an armored Shotel warrior coming over, those noble fighters are just going to tear them to pieces. And Seleucid is starting to advance in onto Rome here. So we've got the Thorax Pike here, and then the Jin taking on the Praetorian Guard. Praetorian Guard says it's winning slightly at the moment, but I assume that Seleucid's probably going to get a unit into combat and probably overtake that lead. The lead there. And then we've got the Kushite Royal Guard going into the back of the Evocati cohort, while the combination of the Thorax Pike and the Royal Peltis hits them from the other side. So a real good hammer and anvil tactic there. And then looks like we're going to try and get some of these Royal Peltis here. We do still have a Balearic Slinger up top, but I'm going to get, 230 kills. They're probably out of ammo. And then we've got a tiny unit of Evocati over here holding that flank down. But yeah, you can see Seleucid is just kind of dealing off Rome here, just finishing them off so that they can go and start focusing on the town center fully without having to worry about what's going on, or getting flanked by Rome, stuff like that. Seleucid did put some Syrian archers up onto the wall that are going to start firing in on the back units of Arverni. Arverni's pretty slim here. This is an interesting one. I think, the attack in Seleucid is just cleaning up Rome for now, but the issue is that Arverni's out, Kush is out, the other Arverni's out. So it's basically going to come down to a Seleucid army versus the remnants of, 3 or 4 different armies. Now, Rome really doesn't have much. Most of Rome's army is being dealt with at the gate here, and back at the town center, he's got his Jin, and I think that's it. But Seleucid has quite a bit. Thorax Pikes, got some Thorax Swords, his other Pike unit, and then he's got a lot of his archers left. Carthage has a decent amount. Samnite Warriors, small African Pike unit, a couple archers, and then way up front here he's got his Jin, who's got 46 kills, and the Mercenary Noble Fighter that has 78. Now, I don't think I'd be sending my Noble Fighter to do... Okay, yeah, I think he realized that it's kind of pointless to take that Noble Fighter and basically just suicide it. Yeah, it might get a lot of kills, but I just don't think it'd be worth it, not in this situation, just because he'd be basically losing a very, very powerful unit just to get killed, and I think that holding on to that unit back towards the choke point is probably going to be much more useful to him. So yeah, it looks like they are basically kind of realizing that, okay, There's no saving Rome at this point. Just fall back. You know, they tried. They did make an effort to kind of go out and maybe try and support Rome's defense attack, whatever you want to call it at this point. But I think realized by the time they got there, it just wasn't worth it. Evocati Cohort. Oh, man. Evocati Cohort with 430 kills. Nice, man. Nicely done. The Seleucid here is probably just going to start moving his troops to start attacking the other side now. Because this is pretty much done on this side. So he's not moving yet, but I guarantee he should be moving here pretty quick. Especially, Arverni's done. So it is literally just Seleucid versus the defenders here. So I'm kind of interested to see how Seleucid goes about this. Numbers-wise, I'm going to think they're probably pretty close, but it is giving the defenders on the balance of power, the defenders are pretty well in favor here. They do have quite a bit of stuff, but if the attacking Seleucid, is smart about it, he might still be able to pull this one out of the bag. He's got quite a bit left. He did not get hurt that bad. Got just about all of his archers. Now, a lot of his units are injured or down on numbers quite a bit, but I don't think that means that they're just, something to be written off. So I'm really interested to see how they do this. Now, Carthage is going to lead off the defense with a Samnite warrior, and then looks like he's going to bring his pike up to the front as well. And then they have a lot of their archers over here as well, just getting ready to duke it out with the attacking Seleucid archers. It's got some cool units here. Look at that guy's face mask right there. Look at that, yeah. That's a face mask, dude. There's another one. Look at that, yeah. Really like the detail of the units in this. Very, very well done. So it looks like he's going to have his tiny little pike unit take up the middle of this Samnite warrior unit. He probably should move them a little bit into that Samnite warrior just so they soak up some of the arrow fire. And it also put the pikes in combat, because right now they're not going to actually be in combat. They're just going to be sitting there. So it means they're really not doing any damage. Got some Sabaean swordsmen going off to the side here. Maybe trying to get maybe seeing if he can sneak some small units around to get in to the sides or something. I'm not sure. He's got a Samnite warrior over here, Thorax sword, Thorax pike. Yeah, so the defenders do have quite a bit left. But I definitely do not think that the attackers are completely out of this. Depending on how they go about this, I think they could pull it out. He's definitely being smart. He's marching his army back to the center here. By rushing him, he'd be just tiring him out for the battle ahead, and he definitely doesn't want to do that. He's already kind of got slim chances. So if you rush your army and exhaust your men, then your chances become even slimmer because your guys don't perform as well. It's like Seleucid is really just setting up his archers. He's got all 4 archers sitting here. Pretty sure most of them have ammo left. Now, a lot of them are probably low on ammo, but it does look like they should still have some. Bow out, bow out, bow out. Bow out. Yep, so they've got their bows out. I'm kind of interested to see what Saba's going to do with this. They're hidden, and small little units like this can be kind of sneaky. Sometimes you can sneak them around the city and do some damage. It looks like he's going to move them over into this street here. You might even consider bringing them over here and keeping them behind buildings as they go, so they can, try and keep them hidden as long as possible. Seleucid is moving up. Looks like he's going to start moving his archers up to start laying in some fire on this front defense. Man, this has been quite the fight, guys. While we're waiting for that to start, let's go look at the I mean, look at this. Like, just this sally out over here was very, very, very well done. Just excellent, excellent stuff there. Just a mass overwhelming force, you know, and it just did a great job of taking down a lot of the attackers there. But on this side, you know, the attacking Seleucid Silent Fart coming in here and really just bullied his way through the Carthage player here. Just very, very well done by Seleucid. But then I think, you know, just this front over here has just been mass death. I mean, just look at this, guys. This is just an outrageous amount of dead bodies. Like, that's nuts. It's crazy. Seleucid getting back up here. As you can see, they've got some little skirmishes here and there, but for the most part, the center area is pretty much untouched. It's gonna be interesting how he goes about this. I think he's gonna try and push two flanks. I think he's gonna try pushing here and try pushing here. If he can get his archers into a good spot, he could probably do some really good damage. You know, if you get into like this spot right here, shooting to the back, those mercenary Samnite warriors could probably do some pretty good damage. It's really just kind of getting set up. Look at all these market stalls that they just tore to pieces going running through. Sometimes what the defenders will do, sometimes they, like, you can hide a couple units in, like, this little keep up here, like, put them right back behind here, and sometimes you can get a really good sneaky blow on the attacking forces here, because a lot of people don't go up and check inside there, because you don't have to. There's really nothing in there. You know, there's no, like, capture point or anything. There is a carbon copy of this map called Antioch, where the capture point is in this fortress up here, while on Cath, the capture point is in this little square right here. So Seleucid, I don't blame him taking his time a little bit. You know, kind of basically, he knows that if he rushes in headlong into this, he's just going to get slaughtered. So he's kind of getting his forces situated in a way where he can push on two different fronts and try. I think he's basically his best bet is trying to overload the other team's micromanagement. So as you can see, like I said, he's bringing troops over on the right side. He's got an archer, and then a good spread of units like Royal Peltis, some Thorax swords, some Thorough spears, and then kind of the same thing on this front. But I do think that this side's going to be his main push, while this side's just going to be a distracting force. He does have one of his Thorax pikes over there, and one Thorax pike on this side as well. Now look at this. Look at this. Saba is still... He took his units over on the other side, and he's coming along here. Now, one thing I probably would have avoided, if he's trying to be sneaky, you probably want to avoid this, because it was taken by the enemy earlier in the game, and now he's recapturing it, and the enemy army, you can see that. So even though these guys are unseen, he now knows that this point is being taken by someone, which means that there's obviously a force over here, so if he's paying attention to it, he probably already knows about this. But I do think it's a good move by Saba, trying to be a little sneaky, trying to get around and possibly get into the backs of the enemy. Alright, here comes the attack here. Got the archers moving up first. Looks like out of ammo. Oh no, they're both out of ammo. Oh, so this is going to be a little bit rough for the attacker now. Two of his archer units are out of ammo. Honestly, probably all three of them. Yep, all three archers out of ammo, and the defenders all have it left, I'm pretty sure. So, as you can see, Carthage is starting to fire cross over here. I think, what was he going for? I think he's probably going for this archer unit. But then, yeah, they're going to change their fire to the front here. Going, looks like after the Thorax Pike back in the back there that's advancing behind the Jin. Both of these units would be good good starts, either the Jin or the Thorax Pikemen. Then we got a Eastern Spearman. I'm assuming this guy probably broke earlier and came back from breaking. So Seleucid did put some archers into this little plaza here, but now he's starting to move them back. I think basically just realizing that he doesn't have anything defending them, so he's got to keep them inside of his little square over here. His archers are starting to attack the other Seleucid archers, though, even though they don't really need to. Now, let's see, the pikes are going to... yeah, now we're shooting at the pikes, so... Not doing a whole lot of damage. It's not a very good angle at this point because it's so close to your own men. It's hard to get them over the heads. So unfortunately the attacking pikes at the moment are not taking a ton of damage yet. So now on the left side he is going to come over here. He's got some Royal Peltis and Thorax Swords going to take the gate over there. And then on this front he's starting to attack here. But like I said, I think he knew that this was coming because of that thing there, because he's got... Oh no, they're facing the wrong direction. Yeah, he probably doesn't know about this happening. So yeah, let's see. Does he try and change? I don't think he's going to be able to. So yeah, the Mascot Marauders are going to get into this, but they may... It looks like they're going to go around. Yeah, it looks like they're going to go around and maybe hit the back of this line here. While, yep, he's just going to completely avoid this Thorough Spear. Oh, yeah. That was a good move. Yep, and then the attacking Seleucid player is probably looking somewhere else and does not realize this. Yep, there it is. So he just saw this other unit, the Sabaean Swordsmen that were trying to get around. Now, the Sabaean Swordsmen are going to break already. They are pretty much out of troops for Saba. Like those was the last two he has, I'm pretty sure. So not a big deal. His Jin was already dead, stuff like that. But as you can see, it looks like we're going to have a mass break by the attackers. Looks like it's just straight army losses. There's so much damage done to the other armies that unfortunately at this point, the men are just breaking piecemeal, So yeah, as you can see, I believe that is going to be it. It was a fun fight, though. Just some great little moments in it. That Cav Sally out was fantastic. The rest of it, there was kind of some back and forth. This side over here was very, very good. Just very juicy. So much happened. So much death happened. I think this was right here, the death of... Kush and Arverni is really what sealed the fate of the attackers there. Although the death of Arverni's archers and ballista did not help at all. So let's go ahead and look at the kills here. So Axe Minister, who was playing Saba, had the most kills for the defenders with 2760. So 162 with the Jin. The Chariot did not get much, unfortunately. Neither did his camels. But look at this. The Camel Cataphracts, 189. 525 kills. Archers, 93. 166 on the Slingers. And then 351 on the Marib Guard. 347 on the Mascot Marauders. And 129 on the Sabaean Swords. Crazy Town Crazy. 51 with this Jin. As you can see, he didn't get a lot of combat there. 45 and 144 on the Agima Cav. 69 on the median and 113 on this median. All of his archers did over 100 with 182, 170. Pikes, as you can see, did not get a whole lot of combat. 86, 93. And then Thorax Swords did fine. 120, 127, and 104 on the Thorough Spear. Billy Blazes. Got 40 archers, all didn't do great, but most of them did not finish. Like they didn't use all their ammo either. Pikes got pretty much slaughtered. That it happens. 123 with the Libyan infantry. 113 on the Noble Fighter, 108 on the other one, and then 82 on the Mercenary Samnite, sorry. Rome's Gen didn't quite get into combat. All of his missiles did good. 439 on the Evocati there, 205, 154, 164. Praetorian Guard just got focused down. Unfortunately, was not able to do what it needed to do. But then Legionary Cohorts 126 and 130, 179. And then the defenders, we've got, or the attackers, sorry, we've got Kush here. Cav did pretty good, 114, 119. All of his archers did really good, 196, 169, 181. And then Armored Chotels, 172, 185, 268, 252. Those were kind of the best ones. Then Arverni, the first one. So this is one with the Scorpion. This would have been the one in the massive battle, not the one that got sallied out. Not a ton of kills. His Oathsworn did good, 192, 168, 132. Chosen Swords, the Chosen Swords kind of got destroyed. 144 kills on that Gallic Warrior, though. Then Silent Fart as the attacking Seleucid. All of his archers did really good, over 130 kills each. Look at these Peltas, 227, 230, 202 on the Thorax Pike. And then all of his Thorax Swords did pretty solid as well. Then Mexi, he was the Arverni that got sallied out on. Unfortunately, you could see his archers all got slaughtered. His Cav actually did really well, 164, 112, 110. And then once again, his artillery also got killed. Naked Warriors 161, 109. His Chosen Swords, they did all right. They could have done better, but he also got sallied out on. That was pretty hard. Now his Oathsworn did good, 147, 221, and 116. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this battle. It was a fun one. That Cav sally out at the beginning was fantastic. But if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to go and hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you guys back. I stream quite a bit, and then I try to do at least a video a week. And I would love to have you guys back. But other than that, go hit that like button and leave me a comment. I'd love to talk to you. You guys have a good one. We will see you next time.